In this public speaking techniques, I'm going to share with you a real life story from a conference that I have just come back from. Now, I want to tell it to you now while it's still fresh in my mind, because this story, I feel that you're really going to resonate with it. It's a story of a situation that you could easily find yourself in. If you are good at your job, at some point in time, you're going to find yourself being requested to get up and present your ideas, your thoughts, your information, either to a group of people or maybe even to a very large room of people at an annual conference or an annual event. And so by telling you this story, what I'm hoping to do is, first of all, share with you the experience of a particular gentleman, but also share with you a couple of tips that are going to help you when that opportunity arises. Because when these opportunities do come up, you want to take advantage of them. This is your moment where you might be able to stand out within your industry. You might be able to prove to everybody that you are an expert, that you are a credible source of information around a particular topic. And so you want to be able to stand up on stage in confidence and deliver a presentation that you know is going to hit the mark. So the conference I was working at, it was a 2-day conference, and a lot of the speakers within it were industry speakers. So these are people that don't get to speak up on stage a lot, maybe just once or twice a year. They'll get up and they'll present their ideas. So every time they do have to present, they have to go through that horrible feeling of having the nerves and the anxiety come up again, because it's something that they're not used to, because they don't do it week in, week out. I get to speak on stage every single week, and even I get this little feeling inside. However, that feeling, I've learned to use it as an energy to help me when I'm up on stage. So the gentleman in question, he worked in IT. So this is somebody who has got a lot of information, a lot of data that he's going to deliver to an audience. And I've done a conference for these people in the past, and we had looked at his last presentation that he did. A bit of the advice that we had given was to try and take all of this complex information and make it simpler for people to understand. I think that in the industries where there is a lot of data or a lot of information, lots of facts and figures, it's very easy to overwhelm the audience with a lot of information. So the first thing that we had done from the last conference was to work on him refining his content down. So he did. Within this presentation, he did an absolutely fantastic job on that. He made his message very clear and concise. The couple of things, though, that came up when he got up to present was because he was anxious, because he was nervous before he got up on stage, which, as I say, is completely normal. It caused him to make 2 presentation, not necessarily mistakes, but 2 things that if he had done it slightly differently, it would have helped him connect with the audience a lot quicker. So I introduced him up onto the stage. He got up onto the stage, started to deliver his information, but he started to deliver his information like this. So the first slide came up, he started to talk to the audience, and he was doing what I'm doing right now, which is he had his hands behind his back. Now, after about 60 seconds, he pulled his hands out in front of him. He showed his hands, and you could feel the energy in the room completely change. All of a sudden, he connected with his audience. Now, the reason for this is because we are hardwired to assess somebody's hands. When we're looking for somebody's intention on a subconscious level, we're observing their hands to see what their intention is. So when we can't see somebody's hands, we start to wonder, what is it that they're hiding? So when we're up on stage and we're speaking, we want to make sure that we keep our hands in view, just to almost to sort of say, hey, look, here I am, I've got some really cool information for you, and I'm being open and honest. When we put our hands behind our back, even now, me putting my hands behind the back as I'm talking to you on camera, I can guarantee that my words don't feel as good as what they do when I bring my hands out in front. So the second he put his hands out in front, there was a lot more connection with the audience. So what I want you to take away from this is just be aware of your hands. When we're fearful, there is this natural tendency to put our hands behind our back. It is something which a lot of people do when they're feeling anxious and nervous. So being aware of this and making sure that you start your presentation and you deliver your content with your hands in front is the first little takeaway. The second one is because of the nerves and anxiety, it caused him to speak really quickly. It caused him to try and deliver his content as fast as possible so that he could quickly get off of the stage. And this I see this time and time again with people that are nervous when they get up on stage. They race through their content. It's like they're a racehorse trying to get all the information out as fast as they can. By just slowing down, and to do this, all we got to do is remember to breathe. it makes your content easier to understand. It makes you come across as more confident, more certain in the words that you are saying. When you slow down on stage, it might feel like an eternity for you up on stage, but I can assure you that for your audience, for your listeners, it's going to make it much easier for them to be able to process the content and also see you in a much better light. You're going to come across as a lot more credible. The information that you're going to be delivering, you're going to sound much more confident in delivering those facts, because when we are nervous, when we're anxious, when we're unsure about something, we will move fast. Our bodies will move fast. Our voices, we will speak a lot faster. So we just need to be really aware of that. Now, yes, we can change the speed at which we're talking to create a different feeling and experience for the audience, but we want to be doing it deliberately and not through nerves. So he came off stage. He did an absolutely fantastic job. I went up to him afterwards and just said, look, like from the time that I saw you before to now, you're absolutely amazing. If you just work on these two things, and he had those in mind every time he went up on stage to present, then every single presentation from this day forward is going to it's just going to get so much better. And because he doesn't get to speak on stage all the time, I want these tools and these techniques to be as simple as possible for him. So there's three things that I want you to take away from this video. Number one is, if you're delivering content that is lots of information, lots of facts and figures, think about how you can make it as clear and concise. Less is more, as they say. So really think about making that information, saying it in as few words as possible, which would have been really good if I'd done that with that sentence that I just said. Second thing is to have your hands in view. Don't talk with your hands behind your back. Have your hands in view. And the third thing is slow down. Remember to breathe while you are presenting. You're going to come across as a lot more confident, a lot more credible, and people are going to be able to take on the information that you're saying a lot. They're going to find it a lot easier to consume your content. Anyway, that is it from me. I enjoyed sharing that story with you. I hope you got a lot out of it. Leave some comments below. See ya. In this public speaking technique, I just tripped over my own tongue. Oh, all right, stop. Just stop.